An Entrepreneur's Guide to Evolving Online. So I'm here with Brandy Lawson of FireFX, and we're here every second and fourth Thursday at 9 a.m. usually. Today we're starting a little bit late due to technical internet stuff. What are you gonna do? So hey, Brandy, how's it going? We have a little bit of an unintentional redneck thing going on today.
Yeah, we kind of do. We're celebrating the out west.
Yeah,
out in the where we wish we could be, like out.
right. Out
in the fields, out in the trees, out in the woods. Yes, exactly.
This is actually my dad's hunting cabin.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So this is what my dad hunted in, and look, here's my dad's ashes. I know, isn't that funny? He watches me every week on Relentless Talk Radio.
There you have it.
So these are the things we do when we're older and stuff like losing your parents starts to happen. Yeah, I'm blessed that I had a great dad, and he was an avid hunter. So I have his Yankees hat and his hunting hat, his two most favorite things ever, the Yankees and hunting.
That's super fun.
Super fun. So we're talking about Googling myself today.
Yes.
It's funny because I do it a lot, not a lot, but often enough to kind of be aware of what my presence is, right? Let's chat a little bit about why we're Googling ourselves. I'm going to make sure that I have the right stuff open here.
Very good. So we have, to this point, you looked at what you've got going on. We've looked at your domains. We've talked about your websites. The reason that this is an important piece for people to be aware of is that this is how everyone else sees you. So even though we go about our business trying to put together how things we want people to see, when you're doing this exercise, this is actually what's being presented to the world when they're looking for you. And sometimes we have unintentional challenges, like maybe you share a name with a famous person. Maybe you share a name with a famous author. Maybe your brand. I once was working with someone whose last name was Jordan, and so she branded her travel company Jordan Luxury Travel. Well, there's a country also named Jordan.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, there's also a country named Jordan. So then she's competing against that. So sometimes this will help you see things from outside of your perspective, but it's also important to understand how the rest of the world sees you and make sure that you're presenting the image you want to the point that you can control it.
100%. So we had talked about, I didn't know this. Every time we do our work session for this, I learned something new, which I love that, because
Yay.
that was one of the biggest things I wanted to get out of working together, was to share with other people what you and I knew, but also I knew there was stuff that I wasn't going to know that you knew, and I knew there was stuff that I knew that you weren't going to know. So this is what people do. They get together and get excited about stuff. So how do I get to private mode? I'm going to go ahead and should I share my screen?
Yes, so share your screen, and I'm just going to talk through. Okay, so there's a lot. I mean, we can go like rabbit hole deep in conspiracy theory about Google, but at the end of the day, here's the deal. Google makes their money by selling ads. And the only reason that Google is a verb is because when you go there, you get the things you're looking for. There was at one point lots of search engine options, right? If some people may or may not remember that. The reason is because Google is relentless about relativity, like making sure that the things that come up are relevant for you and you get what you're looking for. So that's why when you are in your own home browser and you're looking for things, Google's using everything they know about you to give you relevant search results. It's really in the pursuit of giving you what you're looking for. Now, when we are trying to look at what the world sees about us, we don't want Google to use everything they know about us. That's why we want to go to private or incognito mode. So on Safari, it's called private browsing. On Chrome, it's called incognito mode. And you can go up to the menu on your browser.
Here, I'll go ahead
why don't you share your screen?
Cool. Okay. So
if you go up to your menu, and I think in Safari it might be under File.
Let's see if I can get rid of it. How do I get rid of this? Hide sidebar. Okay, so we have less activity happening here. So I go to File.
think that's where we found it first. I don't use Safari regularly.
New
So
private window.
new private window. And
Yeah.
on Chrome, you hit the 3 dots and you open a new incognito window. So
Okay.
those are you. I believe in anybody's ability to get there. But if you want to look at things where all of your cookies and search history, like when you're not being used in context, then go to private or incognito. So if you want to open up your new private, looks like we don't see that on the screen yet.
You don't. Oh, shoot. Let's see.
You may have to reshare that new window.
Share screen. Okay. Cool. That's kind of cool to know.
Well, it's something that we don't necessarily always think about. And it's not a bad thing that the search engines are trying to give us relevant results. It's just sometimes we don't want things that are relevant to us.
There you go.
All right, here we are. Okay, so now once you're in private or incognito,
Okay.
Here's the things you should be, I think, that are the most relevant to what you're looking for: your name and your brand. So Michelle's going to look for her name first. Going to Google up her name.
I have a kind of unique name, but I'll tell you, Facebook's amazing. There's a guy in Italy that has a Micalizzi family group. And I now know more Micalizzis other than like my family. It's the first time in my life I've known other Micalizzis other than myself. So it's very interesting. So am I doing my brand first?
Yeah. Well, if you want to do your brand first or your name first, with either one. Adjust my camera here.
Okay.
There we go. All right. There. Okay. So you do have a unique name. And we can, so the other thing I want to talk about real quick is another technical term for search engines this is called the SERP, the SERP. And it's really technical. It stands for the search engine results page. I'm like, I don't know why we have to have an acronym for this. But when you see SERP used, SERP, they're just talking about the results page, the search engine results page. So that's what this is. So obviously we can see that those are mostly pictures of Michelle.
Yep.
And when Google serves up things, it decides on relevancy. So if it obviously has quite a few images of you, so it served those up first. And then the results underneath that.
Right here is of my cousin Michelle, and she's named after me.
So you do share your name with someone.
I do. I did anyway. She got married, so her name was when she was single. Yes, absolutely.
All right. So now, if you scroll down, Michelle, there's no real surprises here. Either you own the property or it's one of your social.
Yeah.
So this is the other piece: is that you can have you can have properties and you can get them ranked. So you can have your own website, so you can get them ranked. But the other thing to consider is that social, so Yelp, all the social properties, other places where you can have a profile, those are actually very important to set up and optimize so that you can fill the search engine page with things about you that you don't necessarily have to own, but maybe you control. So that's why, even if you aren't using LinkedIn per se, like say you have a consumer facing brand, you're selling to end users and you don't necessarily do business on LinkedIn, it's still a good idea to set up and optimize your profile there so that people can find you.
I love that you're saying this because I have a lot of friends that say to me, but I don't use LinkedIn. I said, yeah, but LinkedIn has got a very powerful search engine optimization tool. And if you want to be on the first page, then you really should be on LinkedIn.
Well, and if you want to make sure that you have ample opportunity for people to find you, optimizing, setting up your profile and optimizing it on LinkedIn doesn't mean you have to go live on LinkedIn or use it or post there.
Yeah.
But by putting
something.
Yeah, but by putting your profile there, it gives you one more listing or one more opportunity to be found when people are looking for your name or your brand that you don't have to set up and maintain. Like, sure, you can build websites all day long, and search engine optimization is its whole other thing. But the idea is that look around, look at what's there, and make sure that you've taken advantage of optimizing all the places that you can control or influence.
And you know what? As I'm thinking, I love this show. I love hanging out with you. This is just the most coolest thing. I'm thinking this is also another little piece of information that's very important to know. I definitely am on Instagram, and I post to Instagram, but not as often as I post to Facebook. Yet Instagram is above my Facebook.
Right.
So that's
And
good
the
to
good,
know.
yeah. So you want to make sure, and the thing that it's pulling from Instagram is your bio. So understanding that your bio for Instagram is for people who found you on Instagram, but it might also be for people who are finding you on Google, which then brings me to what shows up on this page. So there's sort of two layers to search. One is somebody puts in a term and they get a list of results. Okay, you want to be on the list. Second thing is, as they're looking through the list of results, you need to make sure that what shows up there is compelling, or at least tells them, hey, this is, you found what you were looking for. So this is a meta title and description. So if you're on your website, this is that piece of information called the meta title and meta description. That's what shows up on this page. So you want to make sure it's compelling. It's the telling people that this is what they found. It doesn't say home, because no one cares if it's your homepage. They care if they found the thing that they were looking for.
And this is also a good reminder for me because I'm aware of meta tags, right? But I haven't updated them on my MicalizziEnterprises.com site yet because I rebuilt it quickly when I rebranded from Fearlessly Delivered at Micalizzi Enterprises. So I didn't change the meta. I forgot, quite frankly, to change it. So I need to go back because the information that's here, if you can't read it, is saying it's a testimonial, which is not a bad thing to come up in the first couple letters, but it's not necessarily what I want to have the first. So on my LinkedIn profile, I'm on a mission to live up and encourage others to discover their best. That's what I want people to see first. So I need to go back and put a to-do for myself, which is why I made sure I had my notebook to go back and change the metadata on my WordPress site, which is just putting in what I want going to the metadata area and putting in what I want it to say. And that's just super smart.
Yes. And so you'll also see for like Instagram. Now, obviously, you don't get to control your meta title and meta description for Instagram, but it's pulling your name off of your account and the bio from your account. So just, okay, well, let's make sure that you've thought about how that looks and make sure that it has enough information that people go, oh, yeah, I want to click it. So, Michelle, maybe you want to tweak or update your bio a little bit so that people can have seen what's.
Well, this is interesting for me too, because I've been watching other influencers use hashtags in their bio. And what I'm seeing on Google is that it's not pulling the hashtag information.
And so that is probably an intentional move on Google's part, because hashtags are not relevant when you're on search. But in Instagram, so like this is, again, the two audiences. One is inside Instagram, hashtags and bios. Yes. Outside Instagram, hashtags and bios don't matter. So thinking about how the non-hashtag information shows up for the search people.
So another to do, add regular words in front of my hashtags.
Yes.
So I'm going to add my mission to my hashtags. So that when my bio comes up, then awesome. Okay. So that's good to know.
All right. So anything surprising? So you and I talked a little bit about, like, maybe you've done this before, maybe you haven't, maybe there are some surprises here, but what happens if you found something negative? Have you ever found something negative?
I haven't had that happen yet, but I think that the more because I'm lucky, right? I think the more I get out there, the more likely. I remember when I was first getting sober and I was doing a lot of community work in sobriety, and someone said to me, if you haven't met someone who doesn't like you, you're not getting out there enough.
Right. And eventually,
you know what? And the more followers I get, there'll be eventually somebody who says something crappy about me. I was watching Supergirl on Netflix last week, and they were talking about Supergirl's reputation, and there was one who didn't like her, and it had and I remember the news editor bringing that chick in and saying, "Hey, I want you to stop talking bad about her." But she's like, "No, I'm going to talk bad about her because people like watching a traffic accident, basically."
Yes.
And it's just, I hope that I always have lovers, but I know that the stronger you are and the more out there you are, the more haters are potentially possible. It's not possible for everyone to like me.
That's true. And also it may just be something in the past or something that's maybe not negative, but not something you want to see anymore, not something you think is relevant anymore.
So grateful that Facebook was not present in my 20s.
Yes.
I know there's a video somewhere, but it's probably in a box in the basement somewhere.
This is also a good point about the things that are on social media aren't always just on social media, as we've just seen from search results. So yes, potential employers or potential partners or other people can Google you.
Don't do body shots in the bar with big burly bikers and crazy crap, because people can video you and tag you, and you just don't do that shit. Basically, that's what I would recommend any 20-year-old.
Okay, so if you did find something that you were like, I don't really like that's there, I don't want it to be there. No, you cannot call Google up and ask them to remove it. That's not how any of this works. And as we all probably are aware of, once it's on the internet, it's on the internet. So the best strategy is to outrank it, which means get other things ranked that push it down to page 2. Because here's my favorite internet joke. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Where's the best place to hide a dead body?
On the internet.
Page 2 of Google.
Good point. That's true, because no one ever goes to page 2. They go to the first. Yeah, but they might go to page 2, but they're never going to page 3.
Yeah, definitely.
But so that's kind of true in life, don't you? I mean, this is kind of like a little microcosm of life. If something negative happens in your life, you just flood your life with a positivity, and that's what outweighs it. I had kind of a rough beginning of this week, but I'm just like, okay, I'm just keeping on with the positivity crap that I was doing pre that thing, So it's important to keep on doing positive stuff. Another thing that I want to mention is that when I rebranded, part of me thought, just take down that website.
No.
Right? No, because this is on page 1, okay? And
also, don't burn things down.
Yeah, don't burn stuff down, right? So this is my Fearlessly Deliver site, and what I did was I went to I have a visit Micalizzi Enterprises if you want to see my current endeavors, and then this is my blog that's here. That's only my blog now, from the years that I only posted my art on Fearlessly Deliver, and I'll never take that down because it's on the first page of Google. So I actually think doing a little bit more with this site because of that.
Well, so if you have something that's ranking well, and you need to make a change, don't burn it down.
Yeah.
The first thing is exactly what you did, like point people who are visiting to the thing that they might be looking for.
Right.
And then over time, you actually can start to shift. Basically, if you have something new you want to be ranking, introduce to something new, get it ranking well, and when it outranks the thing that you already have, then redirect the thing you already have.
Yeah.
So you can over time change it, and you can over time move things, but you can't do it immediately because Google has had to become really careful about what it considers and take time to consider things, because thank you, spammers and black hat SEO. Marketers ruin everything.
Right.
Search engine results are one of those things. So no, it can't happen overnight, but it definitely can happen. Okay.
I think it's good. It's good to cover these things and take a look. And I think a lot of people are fearful of this kind of stuff. So it's important to.
Well, there's a lot of Google changed the algorithm and everything tanked. Well, yes, that can happen. However, the best practice for SEO, and always has been the best practice for SEO, is create relevant content, because it really will win out over time. Yes, there's a bunch of tricks and a bunch of hacks and a bunch of technical things and voodoo, straight up voodoo, I think, that happens with search engine optimization. But creating actual relevant content will win out over time.
And by the way, it's this way with your credit too. Alyssa Glutz from Color My Credit talks about that. Really, people think, oh, I would get bad credit, I'm doomed forever. No, because if you get a credit card that is and start making payments on that credit card, then the 2 years of history will cancel out your bad history.
Right.
So
there's no silver bullet. There's no quick fix.
There's no quick fix. But if you have bad credit, you don't always have to have bad credit, is my point.
No.
You have to
and if you have
good credit in order to get your score up there.
Right. And if you look for your name, so we haven't looked for your brands, but like your name and your brands.
Let's talk radio in there.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yep. So you can see now I
love it.
And there's some videos here and not images. So you'll notice that the SERP, the search engine results page, changes based on what Google finds. So if Google found a bunch of images, it put that first. Right. Google found a bunch of videos here, and there's a list of videos. So Google results pages changed based on what they're finding. The other, I guess, maybe insight here. So we've looked, no surprises. You've got rankings. Your Anchor, Anchor FM's there.
Well, I haven't got anything on my Anchor FM yet, because this year's activity is taking by the way, this is the 251st interview I've done.
Woohoo!
Isn't that crazy? So I have my information up there that says coming soon, and also when my episode is, and that's what's there right now. But this year, the goal is to hire an admin to take all the audio and load it. It's just a brain-numbingly time-consuming deal, and I need to hire someone with that.
This goes back to our earlier conversation about LinkedIn. Like, even though you don't have content there yet, Anchor FM is considered a reputable source by Google. Yeah. And when you put information on there that's relevant to a search, it's coming up. So back to, like, if you had something on there that you wanted to maybe move to page 2, okay, where are other profiles that you could create? Well, if you've got a podcast or a video broadcast, go create your Anchor FM profile.
Right. I also think it's a good information to think about when you're purchasing online advertising. So there's a lot of mom and pop stuff out there. This is one of the reasons why when people say, how do I make money with Relentless Talk Radio? Sponsorship is always a piece of the puzzle, but I can't start selling big numbered sponsorships until I do the work. So I put 251 episodes up on Relentless Talk Radio, preparing for the time where I can ask big dollars for my sponsorships, right? Mm-hmm. So when deciding how to use your money as far as online marketing, if someone calls you 1-800, please buy my media stuff, you need to find out what their history is as far as Google search engines, because one of the reasons why I used Anchor is because I knew that Anchor was doing a lot of work to help people to show up on the first page.
Right. So these are other platforms that you can use. You don't have to do all of the search engine optimization on your own page. You can utilize other people's platforms who are already putting that work in. 100%.
And also, here's how my brain thinks, right? So here's a YouTube I did with Eli Hall and I, okay? And he's the first video that's coming up on my YouTube. And this is when I was shooting down at Central City, and I'm gonna, send over a little message to Eli today and say, hey, Eli, by the way, your video is #1 on Google. You might want to share that some more.
Yeah, when people are looking for Relentless Talk Radio,
build a relationship by every once in a while taking a look at what's showing up. I think it's also interesting for me that my Back in the Flow food for thought video is #2, because I often wonder, is anyone listening to that one? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's good to know that people are listening to my segment 1. In fact, segment 1 is my top stuff.
So then this also brings us to, so far we've looked for your name and your brands, things that people who already know you would be looking for. And these are the things to look for first. Then we can get off into the weeds on search engine optimization, because if they don't already know you, and if they don't know your brand.
Let's just talk about that for a moment, because you and I are geeky nerd types, and someone might be, and we forget the acronym crap that some people don't know what SEO means.
Right.
And they're not going to ask you because that makes them sound stupid. And so they won't get anything out of this. So by the way, anybody listening, if you don't know an acronym and you're trying to learn something, say, excuse me, acronym police.
Yes, always.
So SEO stands for
search engine optimization. And it is a very, very, very broad umbrella term. And we might even actually back it up a little even more and call it search engine marketing, because there's several components. Typically, when we say search engine optimization, we mean organic, which is non-paid. So we're not paying for Google ads or paying for placement at this point. We are basically trying to create relevant content that Google recognizes and then puts in front of people that are looking for it. Search engine marketing is all encompassing.
I have to say I'm pretty happy about the way my Relentless Talk radio is coming, because all the things that I want Google to pay attention to, they are. And I don't pay for advertising yet. I actually just did an ad for my coachwithmick.com program that I'm doing free business coaching for fitness professionals. And that's the first Facebook ad that I've paid for in a while. So I'm super excited that, that this is working.
Yes. So
exciting.
So the sort of the magical unicorn myth of search engine optimization is that you can show up for houses for sale in Phoenix. If we think about a person who might be looking to buy something, or a person who might be looking for a service, when they go and type something into a search engine is when they have identified they have a specific problem, or they've identified that there's a specific solution. So for example, if you have a dog walking service, yes, search engines are where people are going to find dog walking services. Why? Because they know what kind of problem they have. The dog's chewing on the furniture, it's peeing in the house, they can't get home, they can't let it out. Like, they know the problem. Right. And then they also are very aware of what the solution to that problem is, which is, I need a pet sitter, a dog walker, a cat sitter. Like, there are terms that people are aware of and looking for probably on their phone to find those. That's when using search engine optimization is the most powerful, because these are people with an intent to buy something who already understand what the solution is, and they're looking for it.
And I know where you're going with this, and I love this about you. A lot of professionals will tell you that, everybody needs search engine optimization. Not necessarily true. Because for me, with Micalizzi Enterprises, I'm not expecting someone's going to Google Micalizzi Enterprises. The reason why I have Micalizzi Enterprises up there is so that when I'm having conversations with people, I can go to one place where they can see the hub of all of my activity. I'm not really interested in being found in that way. Now, Relentless Talk Radio is different. I want to be found if someone Googles Relentless Talk Radio, because it's an immediate outlet for me. But Micalizzi Enterprises is more like brochureware.
Well, and even like the idea that people are aware of you before they look for you. So I think that everyone needs some level of search engine optimization, right. But the foundation, the one that everyone needs, is basically to be found when their brand or the name is searched for. Beyond that, it really depends on what kind of thing you're selling and where your buyers are at in their process. Because if you have, for example, even my company, we do marketing and business consulting. We sell marketing strategies and metrics and websites. Well, yeah, maybe somebody's like, I need a new website, but those actually aren't my clients. My clients are the ones who are like, I need to make marketing decisions easier. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overscheduled. And they're not like on Google going, how do I fix my overscheduling problem? Because they may not even be fully aware of that problem yet.
Because they haven't got time to Google it.
No, they don't have time to Google it. So me trying to rank number one.
For sure.
So me putting any sort of resources into ranking for number one for marketing strategy is a complete waste of resources, time, energy, money. No. So just me being on the first ranking on the page does not mean that you're going to get leads, because it really depends on who's looking at that page. And if no one's looking at that page and you rank number one, great. You've built a billboard in the middle of the desert. Yay for you. I guess
right.
not going to get you anything.
There. Right. Right.
Yes. So that is to sort of dial it back and say, make sure people can find you on Google when they know who you are. Think about where search engine optimization factors in to your overall marketing. And if you are selling a service or a solution if people don't know they have this problem, like, nah, you got a lot of other places you should be. If people know they have the problem and they don't know that you're the solution, also, like, yeah, probably not at the top of your list of marketing channels to explore. But to make sure that you've got the basics covered, that is when they put in your name, that they are finding you, because you will not believe how many people don't actually put a domain name in. They will just use Google. We are all lazy human beings.
Oh, it's 100%. Lazy and busy, and you can basically talk that into, you're not going to say MichelleMicalizzi.com. You're going to say Michelle Micalizzi. It's so you can talk to Siri all day long. So
yes, exactly.
I've got a couple really good pieces of information here. Now, one of the things we wanted to do as we draw to a close here, you and I could go on forever because we're just geeks.
Forever.
So, but we wanted to give some value at the end of our series every episode every day. And one of the things that we wanted to talk about was some apps and tools that people can use and I'm going to get rid of this sharing thing. I got to expand my, there, great. Okay. So we wanted to give some apps and tools that people can use to help them to perform better. And that's definitely affordable tools as well. I'm always a big believer, if you can find a tool to do something for free, awesome, use it. Use it. Well, so spend your money on other places. So there's lots of places you can get free tools. So which tools would you like to talk about today?
Well, I think before we talk about how to use the tool, I think we have a couple WordPress plugins specifically we're going to talk about, but keywords. So obviously your name and your brand are your top keywords. And then I'm just going to go with the pet sitting company. Okay. It's pretty obvious that her clients are probably looking for dog walkers, maybe cat sitters. But the first thing to do is listen to how people talk about your service. All day long, we will talk, we will make up things. We will create things that no one's looking for. So take off your filter, listen very carefully to how people describe what they're looking for. Then the other thing you can do is if you go to Google and you start typing a word, like if you start typing dog, Google will start suggesting things. Pay attention to those suggestions because those are usually the top keywords around that core word. So if you start typing dog and it says walker, dog, sitter, pay attention to that. And also when you do a search result, if you scroll to the very, very bottom of the page, there's a list of like suggested searches. Also pay attention to that. Those are other keywords to look for. So keywords first, know what you're trying to optimize for. Then if you have WordPress, there are some usual suspect search engine optimization SEO plugins like Yoast. Yoast is a great one. All-in-one SEO and Rank Math are the three. And this is the other thing about technology is like the top number one for right now might get outperformed or outfunctioned by the second number one. So my suggestion when choosing a tool is always choose a tool that you're going to use that works for you. Because each one of these has a slightly different way that it integrates in your WordPress site. But what it does is it takes care of some of the technical stuff on the back end for you and then surfaces, like makes it easier to make sure you're getting your meta title and meta description on your blog post. And like Yoast will even give you a red light, yellow light, green light for like, how have you done all of the things that you could do to optimize your piece of content?
And you're bringing up a good point about blogs too. One of the reasons why you write a blog is because you want to demonstrate to people what your expertise is in a particular area. You want to build brand and create relationship, but you also want to be poking the Google gods regularly by creating new content on your website. So that, and that's why fearlesslydeliver.com comes up so in my personal thing is because there's 85 blogs there. And so, and Google is searching your keywords. It's also searching how many times you say a certain thing in your blog. So if you're wanting people to find you for dog sitting, you're going to write a blog and make sure you say, I'm dog sitting. Today when I was dog sitting, yesterday when I was dog sitting, and tomorrow when I'm dog sitting, right? You want to build in ways to keep on using that word so that your keywords come up in your meta description, but also they come up in your content.
Yeah, so that's one thing that what these plugins help you do is they basically give you the rough formula or framework about where you should be using your keywords and the density, which is how many times, because
You can overdo it.
Yeah,
Google will
it's called
say,
keyword
"Oh, doing it."
stuffing.
Eh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No keyword stuffing, but
Yeah.
it gives you a nice guide about where to be using things. Also, how you write. Google is like artificial intelligence is a thing. Google can now basically say, what grade level does this read at? How likely are people to read it? Like, they're considering more sophisticated things in their.
Is it grade 6?
Oh, I can't remember. There's like a Fleisch score for legibility. It's like Yoast uses it, and it's something we pay attention to when we're optimizing blog posts for clients, is like, where is this on the readability scale? And I also want to be careful here about, I don't think you should go for search engine over style. I think if you have a writing style that's much more academic, you're going to get yellow lights in Yoast. Okay, fine. But if that's the kind of audience that you're writing for, then do it. If you are writing for, if you're a mommy blogger, or if you like, I'd consider your style first and then let the rest of it inform. But I don't believe in writing for search engines first. I believe in writing for people first, because I do think that relevancy wins out in the long term.
Well, and I think that fearlesslydeliver.com definitely is an example of that, because I'm just writing from my heart in those blogs, and it's about business and the epiphanies I have in my interviews, and I'm coming up on page 1. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, it's always a balance. These tools give you a good little checklist that can inform and make sure that you are taking advantage of all of the places that you could be optimizing, but I don't let them be the end all be all. Let your content and your audience and your conversation be what drives you.
That is a really good place for us to stop.
Yay.
Yay. So Brandy, thanks for being patient with our late start today. And
not a problem.
Listeners, hopefully if you came at 9, you came back at 9:30. If not, you can always listen on replay. We did want to let people know that if you'd like a free consultation with Brandy and I about your brand and marketing and how to evolve online, you can go to meetwithmick.com and you can choose a digital evolution free consultation appointment. Okay, in the comments, please let us know exactly what it is that you're hoping to get from our conversation, so that we can know where you found out and that you heard about us here on Relentless Talk Radio in the Digital Evolution, an Entrepreneur's Guide to Evolving Online episode. All right, so there's our story, and we're sticking to it. Hey, have a good day, Redneck Girl.
You also.
We seem to pick the same themes. We decided we were going to wear headgear on this just to be fun, and I love it. I had a tiara. You had a tiara, and I had a Queen baseball cap. I just love that our themes are just unknowingly, accidentally aligning. I can't wait to see what hats we wear next week.
Right.
I'm not even. Part of me wants to tell you, so you can always have an alignment, but that would ruin the fun for me. So.
Happy accident.
We're going to be talking about, I'll take a look at our schedule here. Next week, we're going to be talking about, oh, shoot. Do you have it in front of you?
Hang on. It's right. We've come to the end of the review.
Yeah.
And next time we are going to talk about the job description for each one of your online pieces. So where you're trying to get internet visibility and what job each of those pieces has.
Cool. All right. So I'll see you next week. We'll do some homework together, and everybody else come back on the 4th Thursday of the month, usually at 9 a.m. Today we started at 9:30, but 9 a.m. on the 2nd and 4th Thursdays, Digital Evolution, an Entrepreneur's Guide to Evolving Online with Brandy Lawson and FireFX and Relentless Talk Radio. Thanks a lot, sister. Have a good redneck girl day.
You too.
Bye.